Hello, my fellow Africans, once again. Um, I want to talk about these xenophobic attacks towards foreigners. So, what I want to say is that let us not point fingers at each other. Let us stop to this thing of pointing fingers at each other's face, because it is not going to help us. I understand that we are all angry and we are all astonished and we are all confused and frustrated because our people are dying, people are killing each other, black people are killing each other. So what I want to say is that it is time now to put emotions aside and try to look far at a distance and not look in front of our feet, because that is not going to help us too. Because if we are going to point fingers at South Africa, at what recently happened in South Africa, and blame South Africans and blame the government of South Africa and blame the government of Nigeria, it is not going to help us. Now it is time to embrace each other and focus more on building our continent. I understand that people are dying, but why do we then shift our focus and focus more on the negative instead of trying to focus more on building the continent? Because if now our focus shifted from building the continent and uniting the continent, and we tend to focus more on the negative side, then it means that the means to develop the continent, it is going to be delayed or impossible. Because now I hear some people, they're saying that South Africans, they've forgotten their history. But if you can go back to history, you will find out that Ghana deported Nigerians in the 70s. Ghana tried to chase Nigerians away from Ghana, and then in the 80s, Nigerians sang Ghana Must Go, and then after that, in the mid 80s, Nigerians, they attacked South Africans. The students of Nigeria, they protested, saying that South Africans are here to take our ladies, to take our jobs, and then they poured South Africans with acid. So now it means that if we can then say, no, these ones, they've forgotten because in the history we did this for them and we did that for them, then it will not solve our problems in Africa. Because now I'm reading some article which reads like this. In 1977, the group of Tsietsi that was made up of only 20 students was deployed from Samafco, Tanzania, to go study in Nigeria, and while they were there, they were welcomed with so much resistance, and the Nigerian students protested, claiming South Africans are there to take their jobs and women. And not too long after that protest, in just 2 months, one comrade by the name of Joel was poured with acid on his face, and not too long he died, and it was then the group had to be recalled back to Samafco. So these were South Africans killed in Nigeria. So, but people are not aware of that. But then if you can search the book, it is entitled The Stories of South Africans, the Untold Stories of South Africans in Exile. So you will see everything that happened to South Africans. But then what I'm not saying that, I'm not justifying the killings that are happening in South Africa. But what I'm trying to say is that someone offended someone somewhere. Ghanaians offended Nigerians. Nigerians offended Ghanaians. Nigerians offended South Africans. South Africans offended Nigerians. So now we can't go on pointing fingers at each other. We must accept the fact that no one is perfect. Let us try to forgive each other. When the president of South Africa is asking for forgiveness, let us try to find in our hearts to forgive South Africa and stop these videos trying to discredit South Africa and trying to demotivate people from going to South Africa, discouraging them and so that they can cut their trips to South Africa. But now it is time to try to build our continent, because if we sanction South Africa, if we isolate South Africa, it means that we are sanctioning Africa, because Africa is nothing without it is nothing without South Africa, and South Africa is nothing without Africa. So we can't isolate each other because each other wronged the other one. But let us bring together and settle our differences and try to cooperate with each other and try to understand each other. So what I'm trying to say is that let us not allow ourselves to be defocused. Let us try to build the continent. Let us stop boycotting events that are meant to build Africa, because that's not going to help us. But what is going to help us, it is unity and learning to forgive each other, knowing that someone wronged someone somewhere. So, Africans, I love you. South Africans, I love you. Nigerians, I love you. Ghanaians, I love you. Tanzanians, I love you. And Zimbabweans, I love you. We are all Africans. We belong to the same soil. So, guys,